I woke up frozen in 2024. The dark truth I uncovered is haunting forever. The world had changed overnight. Lily could feel the chill crawling deep into her bones as she opened her eyes. Everything looked wrong. The landscapes outside were blanketed in unnerving white, trees silent and stark like skeletons against the overcast sky. Panic gripped her heart like a vice. Had she found herself in a dream, or was this the chilling reality of a frozen future? Her breath came out in quick, visible puffs, a stark contrast to the ghostly quiet that surrounded her. Shadows lingered just out of view, darting between the objects around her. It felt as if the world held its breath, waiting for something unimaginable to happen. She reached for her phone, but it lay lifeless, screen cracked. Each tick of her heart echoed painfully in her ears. Something was deeply wrong. Where were the people? Where was anyone at all? The eerie silence was shattered by a sound. A broken laugh echoed from the street below, chilling her further. What kind of laughter belonged to this frozen wasteland? She raced to the window. Her heart thumped wildly as she saw nothing. Just the swirling snow, chaotic but oddly beautiful, swirling like lost souls. Her skin prickled as she imagined who or what was out there. Lily felt a lump form in her throat. Had she missed something important? There were whispers of terrifying rumors in the days leading up to her waking up like this. Stories of people waking up in the future, strange happenings that felt more like warnings than bedtime tales. Was she one of them? She could almost see those whispers weaving through the snow, taunting her with their mysteries. Before we continue, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button. It really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Suddenly, there was a loud boom outside, shaking the walls. She rushed back to the window, her heart racing. Was it thunder? Or something else entirely? As the frost-covered trees cracked under the weight of the snow, a figure emerged, silhouetted against the blinding white. Her breath caught. Who were they? Were they friend or foe? A million questions surged through her mind like an avalanche. With her heart pounding against her chest, Lily instinctively reached for the door, but hesitation held her back. What if this was the moment everything changed? The figure turned slightly, a flash of red drawing her attention. Red? What could that mean? The hope and horror of it intertwined, coil after coil tightening around her chest. She felt alive, buzzing with fear as the figure stepped closer. The danger felt palpable and thrilling, a stark reflection of her own vulnerability. Lily had no idea how she'd gotten here or what awaited her. But one thing was crystal clear: she was about to plunge into the unknown, where the darkest truths awaited. Would she emerge unscathed? Or would the chilling secrets of 2024 haunt her forever? Lily took a shaky breath, the chill filling her lungs as she forced herself to the door. Each step felt calculated, heavy with dread. The moment she opened it, a gust of icy air rushed in, making her skin prickle. The world outside was as ghostly as she'd imagined, with swirling snow creating a surreal landscape. She peered out and immediately spotted the figure again, this time moving closer. The figure halted in front of the large tree outside, snowflakes dancing precariously around them. The flash of red she'd noticed before wasn't a warning, it appeared to be a coat, blood bright against the stark white. Was this person even alive? Questions whipped through her mind like the snow in a storm. "Hello?" she called, her voice cracking against the stillness. It felt like shouting into a void. The figure turned sharply at the sound, revealing a face partially hidden beneath a hood. Shock painted over Lily's heart when she saw that it was a young woman, her eyes wide like saucers. There was fear in those eyes, but also a flicker of recognition. Lily. The stranger shouted, her voice barely audible over the wind. You need to get inside. It's not safe out here. Lily's instinct was to retreat, to slam the door and lock the world outside. But something about the urgency in the girl's voice pulled her onward. Who are you? She managed to ask, her voice quivering. You're not supposed to be here. The girl insisted, glancing nervously over her shoulder. We thought you were one of them. One of who? Lily asked, confusion knotting her stomach. Suddenly, a low growl echoed from the depth of the forest across the street. Adrenaline surged through her. The girl's face shifted to sheer panic. We have to move, now. Before Lily could respond, the girl dashed through the snow, beckoning her to follow. Heart pounding, she stepped out into the freezing cold, her feet crunching through the snow. Shadows loomed behind the girl as they raced toward an alleyway between two buildings, the cold air stinging Lily's face, but urgency pushed her onward. Wait! Lily shouted, gasping for breath. What is happening? Who's after us? The girl paused, looking back, her breath misting in the air. You really don't know? There are things in this place, things that hunt, things that were once human. They scrambled into the darkened alleyway, a narrow passage that felt alive with tension. Lily could hear the growls intensifying. It was as if those sounds echoed her worst fears. The girl fumbled for a door, her hands shaking. In here, quick! She pushed the door open, and they both stumbled inside a dimly lit room. Just as the door clicked shut, an animalistic roar resonated from the street, sending chills coursing through Lily. They stood together in the dim light, panting, adrenaline thrumming in their veins. The girl turned to face her, eyes wide with terror. Lily, you need to listen to me. There's something crucial you have to know, something about why you woke up here. I can't explain it all now, but they'll be looking for you. A loud pounding began on the door behind them, shaking the walls. The girl's expression turned from fear to something darker, something sinister. Whatever you do, don't let them in. She screamed. But even as she said that, the door rattled violently, splinters of wood flying from the edges. Lily's heart thudded in her chest, dread clawing at her mind. What awaited them outside? Who or what were the hunters? In that moment, she understood, the truth she feared to unravel was about to be forced upon her, and there was no way to run from it now. Would they survive the night, or was this the beginning of a much darker fate? The pounding on the door intensified, each thud echoing like a war drum in the dim room. Lily's breath hitched as she clutched her arms around herself, trying to calm the raging storm within her. The girl, her eyes wide with fear, pressed her back against the door as if that alone could hold whatever was on the other side at bay. Who are they? Lily urged, her voice barely above a whisper. The urgency in her tone made the girl's expression tighten further. They're called the hunters, she gasped, glancing around as if searching for an escape. They were once just like us, but now? They crave flesh. If they find us, they'll stop at nothing to get in. Lily's stomach churned. The growls outside crescendoed into a cacophony that vibrated through the walls, sending her heart spiraling. What do we do? She asked, her voice trembling. Shoo. The girl put a finger to her lips. We have to be quiet. If they suspect we're here. Her sentence trailed off, but the unspoken fear filled the air between them. They stood in silence, the pounding echoing like thunder, each moment stretching painfully long. Lily could feel the heat of the girl's body next to her, a tether of reality amidst the chaos. She took a deep breath, gathering her courage, and in that moment, something glimmered in the corner of her eye, an old, rusty knife lying on a rickety table. I can't just wait here, Lily said, her voice firmer now. I need to do something. The girl's eyes widened in alarm, her voice urgent. No. You can't. If you open that door, I can't just sit back and wait for them to come in. I need to know what we're up against. Before the girl could protest, Lily surged toward the knife, fingers wrapping tightly around its handle. It felt foreign, cold as the winter air, yet somehow grounding. Suddenly, the growls intensified, the door rattled harder, and a scream echoed from the darkness outside. A woman's voice, desperate and terrified. "Help! Please! Don't leave me!" Lily's heart splintered at the sound, instinct battling against reason. "They're trying to lure us out," the girl whispered. "We can't trust them." "But what if she needs help?" Lily countered, her mind racing. "We can't just ignore her." With a surge of determination, Lily pushed past the girl and pressed her ear to the door. The wails continued, growing fainter, filled with despair. She could feel the girl's hands gripping her arm, pulling her back, yet she stood still, trapped in the moment. Every instinct in her screamed to open the door, to help whoever was out there, but the warnings rang loud in her head. "Lily!" The girl's voice shook. "We can't risk it. If you open that door, we might not make it back." Thunder rumbled outside, mingling with the growls that had transformed into something darker, more menacing. The door bucked violently under the force of what lay beyond. "Please, we have to go." In a flash of decision, Lily pulled away from the door. "Fine. But if we're going to survive, we need to have a plan." Just then, the growling stopped. A heavy silence enveloped them, thick with tension. Lily felt her hope waver as she dared to glance back at the door. Maybe they've left?" she murmured, her heart racing at the thought. But as she spoke, the door creaked open just a crack, and a glimmer of orange light spilled into the room. Lily gasped. What lay just beyond that door? Was it salvation or something far worse? "Whatever it is, it's here," the girl whispered, her fear palpable. And with that realization, dread coiled tighter around Lily's heart as she prepared for a confrontation she didn't think she was ready for. Could they stand their ground against the unknown? And if they did, what dark revelations would follow? The door creaked open wider, revealing a silhouette backlit by the flickering flame. Lily's heart raced as reality collided with the flicker of hope. Standing in that doorway was a figure, cloaked in shadows, but the light spilled just enough to outline a gaunt face twisted with desperation. "Help me!" the woman cried again, her voice raw with anguish. "Don't!" the girl hissed, her grip threatening to crush Lily's arm. "It's a trap." Lily felt torn, the pull of compassion battling against the weight of suspicion. The woman's eyes locked onto Lily's, wild and pleading. Every instinct urged her to step forward, to reach out and pull this woman from the fire-lit abyss. But something about the eerie stillness surrounding them whispered that this moment held more danger than it revealed. The growls from outside broke the silence like glass shattering. And there was a shift, a subtle movement in the shadows behind the woman. It flickered just beyond the periphery of the orange light, a glimpse of something stripped of humanity. "Please!" the woman's voice cracked, a haunting sound that wove through Lily's resolve. "You don't understand, they'll kill us all." "Who?" Lily demanded, voice trembling with uncertainty. The weight of the knife in her grip steadied her, yet also reminded her of how vulnerable they truly were. "The hunters." Now the woman stumbled closer, stepping into the light just enough for Lily to see the bruises on her neck, fingers marks, warning signs of a struggle. "They're coming for me. They don't stop." Just then, the darkness behind the woman shuddered, and another figure broke free, a twisted form with eyes gleaming like glass. It lunged forward, snapping at the air. The woman recoiled, scream bubbling to the surface as Lily's heart dropped. "Run!" "No!" the girl screamed, pushing Lily back, though any hope of hiding dissipated. The door slammed open fully, joyous light hiccuped into flickering chaos as whatever lived beyond spilled into the room. Lily's instincts kicked in. She swung the knife towards the woman as the first hunter dove forward, grotesque claw-like hands outstretched. "No!" The girl cried, lunging for the door, but it was too late. The hunter was faster. A sharp cry rang out, a blend of human desperation and inhuman satisfaction. In the daze, Lily caught a glimpse of the hunter's leathery skin stretched taut over sharp ribs, lips pulled back in a grotesque grin that revealed weapons where teeth should be. Lily darted back, slammed her eyes shut, and clenched the knife, every instinct screaming for survival. They had to escape. But the door was theirs to guard, and if they couldn't hold their ground with a roar, the figures descended upon them. They had to make a choice, now. Fight or flee, but there was no time to think. "Lily, help!" The girl shouted, snatching at the knife, wild fear mingling with frantic survival instinct. That split-second straining time pulled her between the two, and in that moment, reality pivoted. Lily launched herself toward the door, adrenaline surging. She could feel the presence closing in faster, a weight of despair pushing on her chest, threatening to suffocate her. What awaited them outside could be death, or could there be a chance for salvation? The girl let out a desperate shout, her hand slipping. Lily turned just as the shadow lunged forward again, eyes stormy with hunger. Everything hinged on what happened next. Would they burst through the door together, or would the darkness claim them first? With that final thought, the moment fractured, launching them into chaos, and every heartbeat screamed for survival. What awaited on the other side may either save them or push them deeper into despair. Which path would they take? Lily didn't give herself a chance to hesitate. With a fierce shout, she threw her body against the door, feeling the sweet rush of air from the outside as it swung wide. The moment that splintered silence was filled with chaos. The chill night air hit her face, the pungent scent of damp earth pulling her into the reality of flight as shadows clawed at her heels. "Go!" she screamed, twisting to push the girl out into the night, the knife still gripped in her hand but forgotten in the adrenaline-fueled blur. The world outside was dim, the uncertain shapes of trees looming like dark fingers against a crescent moon. She felt the girl surge ahead, pulling her along, desperate to escape, but the echo of growls was unyielding, a dark symphony of the hunters eager for the taste of flesh. They poured out of the doorway behind them, claws scraping against the wooden frame as they rushed into the open air. Here, in the open expanse, they could run. But where could they hide? North. The old shed. The girl gasped, racked with panic, each word a shallow breath. With fear etched on her face, she led the way, stumbling over roots and rocks. They darted forward, heartbeats thundering in unison. For Lily, life became an exercise in instinct, dodging branches that seemed determined to snag her, her thoughts hot and scattered. What were the hunters? Just what had they unleashed? A shriek ripped through the night, a sound so human, yet layered with primal terror. In horror, Lily's gut twisted. She took another glance backward, heart racing as she spotted one of the hunter forms breaking through the forest edge, its malicious grin illuminated by the moonlight. It chased them, a dark shadow on the periphery of her vision. "Lily!" The girl's voice pulled her from the spiral of fear. "This way!" The shed came into view, a rundown structure barely standing, its walls sagging like old bones. They dashed inside, the door swinging shut behind them. The darkness engulfed them, drowning out the sound of the night. There was a musty scent, a familiarity that made Lily sick. It suffocated her, and she couldn't tell if it was the dust or the fear clawing at her throat. "Lock it!" the girl hissed, her eyes wide. But there was no lock, only a hastily constructed barricade of rotten planks leaning against the door. Lily couldn't speak, entranced by the primal thud of their breath. They both pressed against the door, the weight of their bodies holding it closed as splintering claws scraped against the outside, a frenzy of fury unleashed. Why are they after you?" Lily finally managed to choke out, glancing at the girl, who was trembling from fear and cold. I don't know," she stammered, eyes darting around the dim interior. A few broken tools huddled silently in the corners, and the darkness seemed to whisper secrets. "All I know is that they've hunted my family, and if they find me..." The unspoken threat hung heavy in the air around them. Lily's mind raced, images of her own family flashing before her. She couldn't let it end like this. Then she noticed something, scraps of paper scattered across the floor, illuminated by a sliver of moonlight sneaking through a crack. She crouched down, heart gripping as she recognized one of the torn pages, old newspaper clippings. The heading read, "Mysterious Disappearances in the Woods, an Urgent Warning." "Look!" she exclaimed, heart racing, not from fear, but from a dawning realization. They've been doing this for years. But before she could read more, the door rattled violently. Wood splintered, and with a frantic scream, they shoved against it harder, united in desperate strength. "Lily, think!" the girl yelled, tears glistening in her eyes. "There has to be another way out. Something we can use." Lily's mind scrambled. Time was running out. Somewhere behind them, in the dark, lay the answers they needed, but only if they could escape the terror now crashing against their last bastion of safety. The walls whispered louder, the clamor of the hunters reminding them of the thin line between survival and despair. As a possible escape route loomed in her mind, she felt a surge of resolve. But was time already too late? What would they find when they opened that door once more? Would it be salvation, or would it drag them deeper into the nightmarish void? The door groaned under the relentless battering. Each thud sent a jolt of terror through Lily's veins. "We need to hurry," she gasped, heart pounding. In that suffocating darkness, she felt each second slipping away like sand through her fingers. "Here." The girl pointed toward a small window in the corner, half covered by rotting wood. "It might lead outside." Lily's pulse quickened as she approached the window, pulling at the brittle wood with frantic urgency. The splinters dug into her palms, but she didn't care. Outside, the growls grew louder, more insistent, a cacophony of hunger and malice. "Help me!" Lily hissed, and together they pried the window frame until it finally broke free, revealing a narrow opening. Just outside, the night loomed dark and beckoning. But the noise behind them tightened like a noose. She could see the silhouettes of the hunters, dark shapes shifting and cackling, eyes glinting like shards of glass. "Go!" the girl urged, pushing her toward the opening. Lily hesitated. What lay out there? A chance of freedom or certain death? The choice clawed at her gut, but the urgency of the hunt left no room for doubt. She clambered through the window, feeling the sharp edges of the frame scratch her skin. Once outside, cool air rushed over her, pulling her from the stifling darkness of the shed. She turned, reaching out for the girl as panic surged in her chest. "Come on." The girl hesitated, eyes wide as she glanced back at the door, rattling with renewed rage. "I can't." Unthinking, Lily grabbed her wrist and yanked her through the gap. "You can't stay here." The night sky hung above them like a blanket of stars, but the oppressive weight of the imminent threat pressed against them. They stumbled into the forest, the shadows shifting ominously around them. "Which way?" the girl gasped, scanning the black woods for any sign of safety. "North," Lily replied, remembering the rush of their earlier escape. "We'll have to keep moving. We need a plan." But as they ran, the sounds behind them grew louder, a chorus of voices, an orchestra of snarls and taunts. "Why are they taunting us?" the girl whimpered, fear coating each word, her breath coming in ragged gasps. "I don't know. Just keep moving," Lily urged, pushing through the underbrush, not glancing back. Every instinct told her to run, to dive deeper into the woods. Yet, it was there something bright flickered in the distance, a source of light. "Look!" Lily pointed, hope threading through her. "Maybe it's a cabin or a house." With renewed energy, they forged ahead. But as they neared, dread seeped through her. The light was weak, almost flickering like a lamp struggling against the dark, and the air felt thick, charged with unease. "What if it's a trap?" the girl said, reluctance etching lines of doubt across her face. "We don't have a choice." Lily shot back. We can't go back, and we can't let them catch us. But as they crept closer, the awful truth dawned. The light was emanating from an antique-looking lantern set outside an old decaying shack, much like the shed. It was adorned with strange symbols painted on the door, symbols that felt eerily familiar. What do those mean? The girl whispered, voice trembling. I don't know, but we're about to find out, Lily replied, a chill washing over her. A low growl echoed from behind, the hunter's presence closing in, their hunger sharper than ever. Now or never. Lily shouted, lunging toward the door as her heart threatened to tear from her chest. The door creaked open, revealing a cluttered interior shrouded in darkness. Shadows danced across the walls, and a tapestry of fear clung to the air. What lay inside could be their salvation or their doom. As they both hesitated on the threshold, the growls morphed into chilling laughter, a sound that chilled their blood. Let us go, Lily urged, shoving the girl through the doorway. But just before she followed, she caught sight of one last thing, a figure lurking in the darkened corner, eyes gleaming with hunger. Who are you? Lily stammered, icy terror creeping over her. The figure stepped into the light, revealing a face she recognized but never wished to see again. The sting of betrayal sank deep as she realized, in this house of horror, they were not alone. What devils waited beyond the threshold of trust, and what choices would they be forced to make? Lily's heart raced as she stared into the familiar face, frozen in disbelief. It was James, the boy who had betrayed her for a promise of power. The soft curves of his lips twisted into a cruel smile, a reminder of their past entwined with dark secrets. What are you doing here? She choked out, her throat tightening as she fought back panic. The air thickened, stifling her voice, making it hard to breathe. Nice to see you too, Lily, he purred, stepping further into the faint glow of the lantern, shadows dancing across his face like specters. I was hoping I'd run into you. It seems fate has a way of working things out. Fate? The word slipped from her lips, tinged with disbelief. You've led those things here. Why? You knew we were escaping. He shrugged, a calculated nonchalance that made her skin crawl. I needed you to find this place. You're quite resourceful, you know. I've been watching you. I wanted to see what you would do. Lily glanced at the girl who stood trembling beside her, eyes wide with fear. She could feel the girl's panic merging with her own. You manipulated us. James chuckled, a sound sharp and mocking, bouncing off the walls of the derelict shack. Manipulation is the name of the game, sweetheart. You're not the first to fall for it, and you won't be the last. Behind them, the growls grew louder, a brutal reminder that they were still hunted. The hunter's laughter echoed in the trees like a taunting song, closer than ever. We have to go, Lily urged, backing away toward the door. Now. Go? And leave all this? James waved a hand, gesturing to the room like it was an extravagant display. This place is a treasure trove of knowledge, Lily. Knowledge to bring real power. You're smart enough to recognize that. Power? The word clawed at her heart, twisting her gut. What price did power extract? She had learned that lesson too well. You think I want anything to do with you or your knowledge? If you don't, he replied, lowering his voice, you'll die here. And those creatures out there will have you. You'll be prey. Lily stole a glance outside, where the shadows shifted with hungry intent, the grotesque shapes waiting for their moment. What do I care? I'd rather die than end up like me? He interrupted, stepping closer. Did you really think I'm not doing what I need to survive? Those hunters out there, they're not just monsters. They're a part of this world. You can harness that power, Lily. Join me. The offer hung between them, heavy and suffocating. She could feel the girl's panic rising, her eyes darting as if searching for an escape route. You're insane, Lily whispered. I want to be a part of this. But you already are, he insisted, desperation creeping into his tone. This isn't just chance, this is fate. You can't outrun it. You have to embrace it. The faint flicker of the lantern cast an eerie glow on his face, and in that moment, memories flooded back, shared laughter, secrets whispered in the dark, trust broken. Don't you see what you've become? Lily demanded. You're just as monstrous as they are. James faltered, disbelief flashing across his features. Behind them, the door rattled under a violent assault, the hunters refusing to be kept outside much longer. Choose, Lily. He hissed, with urgency dripping from his words. Embrace the power with me, or deal with the hunters. This is your last chance. The shadows crept closer, and the tension coiled like a spring ready to snap. As she braced herself, a chilling laugh erupted from the dark, a growl of triumph that sent icy fear through her. Before she could respond, the door burst open, splintering wood flying, and the first hunter lunged into the room. What lay ahead, the burn of betrayal, or the lure of unholy power? Lily's decision would shape everything, and time was running out. The hunter crashed into the shack with a primal roar, its twisted figure silhouetted against the moonlight. Lily's heart thundered as she crouched low, instinct screaming to run. The air was thick with the scent of decay and terror. Lily! The girl beside her screamed, her voice breaking the chaos. But before she could react, James stepped in front of them, arms outstretched as though he could contain the terror rushing into the room. No! Stay back! He yelled, but the warning was swallowed by the hunter's furious growl. The creature lunged forward, its jagged teeth bared like a nightmarish grin. In that split second, Lily felt time stretch, the world narrowing to the menace before her. She didn't want to see it, didn't want to believe this nightmare was real, but there was no denying the fear gripping her throat like a vice. Get down! James shouted, shoving the girl to the floor as he lunged at the hunter, desperation igniting the fire in his eyes. It was surreal, witnessing the boy she once trusted clash with a monster he had essentially unleashed. The hunter snarled, its razor claws slashing the air as it retaliated against James. He ducked just in time, rolling away from the lethal swipe. The sound of flesh ripping echoed, leaving a chill in the air as he stumbled back, blood splattering the ground. Flee! He commanded, but Lily was frozen. She caught sight of the girl, wide-eyed and paralyzed by fear, as the chaos unfolded. Now! We need to go. Snap back to reality. The door was behind them, splintered and jagged, but it was their only hope. Without thinking, Lily seized the girl's arm, pulling her toward the exit. Run! She gasped, yanking her to her feet just as another hunter stepped through the gaping doorway, its hulking shadow blocking their escape. We can't go that way. The girl's voice trembled as she looked back at the mayhem. But there was no choice. In a heartbeat, they were sprinting through the shadows of the forest, branches clawing at their skin like the very hunters chasing them. Lily's lungs burned with every frantic breath, the sound of pursuit echoing behind them, a savage symphony. The deeper they ran into the woods, the more she felt the weight of James's words pressing down on her. She couldn't outrun fate. It was true. Where are we going? The girl shouted over the snapping branches. I don't know. Just keep moving. The leaves rustled overhead, enveloping them in darkness. Fear surged within, twisting her stomach. They couldn't be captured, she wouldn't let that happen. Just when the beat of her heart echoed home in her ears, they stumbled into a clearing, a thin beam of moonlight cutting through the trees, illuminating an ancient stone altar, crumbling but strangely powerful. The hairs on the back of her neck stood upright. Lily! The girl gasped, clutching her arm as she caught sight of something glittering on the altar's surface. What's that? Lily's eyes widened. It was a relic, carved with runes pulsing faintly with an eerie light. A chilling thrill ran through her, pulling her closer, against her better instincts. Beneath the parchment-thin veil of her fear, a flicker of curiosity sparked. If this relic held the power James had hinted at, could it save them? Don't touch it. The girl pleaded, but it was too late. As Lily reached out, the moment was charged with energy, a low hum vibrating through the air. Suddenly, the shadows thickened, the trees swaying ominously as if alive. An unexpected chill sank into her bones like ice. It felt like they weren't alone anymore. Lily's heartbeat quickened. Was this the right choice? Or had they just summoned something worse than the hunters? Before she could find out, a piercing shriek sliced through the silence, rising above the turbulence of the night. Something was coming. What had she awakened? And would they be ready for the darkness that loomed and beckoned within those shadows? The ground trembled beneath them, trembling as though it was responding to the echo of that otherworldly shriek. Lily's eyes darted around the clearing. The moonlight seemed to dim, swallowed by an approaching force. Panic clawed at her throat, and the girl beside her pressed closer, shaking like a leaf in the storm. What was that? The girl whispered, her voice barely above a breath. I don't know. Lily stammered, her heart racing. The relic pulsed brighter, casting eerie shadows across their faces. The frigid wind moaned around them, carrying a scent of something foul like burnt earth and decayed. In the distance, echoing through the trees, came a new sound, the snapping of branches, low and deliberate, as if something was taking its sweet time to reach them. Each crunch echoed like thunder. Lily, we have to go. The girl urged, but the pull of the relic was strong, almost magnetic. Lily felt its energy tugging at her, promising power. Hope. Yet, instinct screamed that they had improved the danger. Before she could answer, a heavy black form tore into the clearing from the underbrush. It was another hunter, its eyes wild and gleaming like sickly lanterns in the night. Rage twisted its grotesque face, and it howled, filling the air with its hatred. Back! James's voice cut through. He barreled into the clearing, breathless but ready. Bloodied from his earlier clash, he rushed to stand before the girls, defiantly facing the incoming creature. Get behind me! He shouted, positioning himself like a living shield. The sight filled Lily with both dread and admiration. He was torn apart by shame and courage, a boy chasing shadows. Lily's heart twisted at the sight of him. He had fought for them, but could anyone face these monsters alone? The hunter lunged, claws outstretched, a blur of fur and fury. Lily stumbled back, but James was right there, using all his weight to shove against its chest. The two collided with a sickening thud, both tumbling onto the ground. Pack your fear, fear has teeth. Run! He grunted, fighting to push the monstrosity off him, but it was too strong. The creature snapped its fangs just inches from his face, making wild, desperate attempts to claw him. Lily felt a surge of guilt. How had everything spiraled so far? How could she let this happen? Get the relic! James shouted, breaking her from the fog of despair. Do something. It could help. The girl, feverish-eyed and trembling, was already moving. How? She cried. Lily's instincts kicked in, fueled by desperation. Grabbing the relic with trembling hands felt electric, a rush that filled her with both dread and excitement. The moment she clasped it tightly, a sudden warmth flooded her. It spread through her veins, igniting a raw power she hadn't known she possessed. Lily! James yelled, struggling against the hunter. You have to focus. Use it. With utmost determination, she held up the relic. Its glow intensified, spiraling into a vibrant light that shot forward, aiming directly at the hunter. It collided with a boom, a shockwave bursting through the clearing, disorienting the creature. It yelped, reeling back for the first time, eyes wide with confusion and fear. Keep going! James shouted, still writhing beneath the hunter's weight. Lily pushed harder, intent on channeling every ounce of her will through the relic. The air crackled with energy. Would this be enough? Did she even know what she was doing? The hunter roared, the sound shattering the night, a challenge. As if responding to the intensity of its pain, others emerged from the shadows, drawn to the chaos like moths to flame. A wave of panic washed over her as realization dawned. She hadn't just sparked a defense, she'd invited the darkness. Lily's breath quickened, her vision blurring as the ground trembled beneath new, heavy thuds. More are coming. She gasped, panic settling in her chest. What would they do now? Would she truly be able to face the consequences of wielding such power? The shadows were closing in, and with every heartbeat, dread seeped further into the air. Something wicked was awakening, and they were right in its path. Would the relic secure their survival or lead them to their end? Lily's heart pounded as she fought to maintain her focus, the relic's warmth coursing through her. She felt the energy radiating, pulsing like a heartbeat, but dread twisted her gut. She could feel more hunters closing in, their growls like a dark symphony that crescendoed with every passing second. One of the hunters, a monstrous beast with eyes like smoldering embers, lunged toward James. "Get off!" He grunted, eyes fierce as he pushed against the creature, trying to free himself. But the hunter was relentless, teeth snapping just inches from his face, hungry and vicious. "Lily! You have to do something!" James shouted again, his breath strained, desperation threading through his voice. "You have all the power. Use it!" The warmth of the relic surged deeper, thrumming with a pulse that echoed her heartbeat, and somehow she realized it was not just an object. It was a conduit for her own strength, her very will intertwined with whatever magic lay within. "Get back!" she yelled, raising the relic high above her head. Instinct took over, and she felt a wave of confidence wash over her. The ground shook beneath her feet, the air vibrating with energy. With a fierce shout, she channeled her fear into control. "I command you!" A blinding light erupted from the relic, sweeping across the clearing in a dazzling wave. The brightness engulfed the hunters, who screeched and recoiled, shadows retreating from the purity of the power. James rolled away from the nearest hunter, scrambling to his feet. Breathing heavily, he witnessed the impact of Lily's newfound power. The creatures lurched backward, hissing as the light burned a path through the dark. "Keep going, Lily. Don't stop. The job wasn't finished yet." The flashing light illuminated the trees around them, revealing more hunters lurking, their eyes glinting with malice. But Lily wasn't afraid anymore. She stood firm, her shoulders squared, as she focused her energy, directing the light toward the advancing shadows. One by one, the hunters writhed in agony, letting out screams that were a blend of rage and confusion. The air crackled with tension as the relic pulsed to match her heartbeat, guiding her movements, connecting her to the depths of the forest fed by their dark figures. Then, in a moment, everything shifted. A swirling cyclone of energy spiraled outward from the relic, and as it spread, the shadows began to falter and fade. The cackling disappeared, replaced by a haunting silence that filled the clearing. The hunters shrank back, losing their form in the brilliance, vanishing into the dark, splintering away from their prey. For a suspended heartbeat, everything froze, then simply melted away. The relic dimmed slightly, warmth fading as the last echoes of the hunters vanished into the night. Lily felt a wave of exhaustion wash over her, her legs faltering as she collapsed to her knees, breathless but alive. James rushed to her side, eyes wide with awe. "You did it! This wasn't just me," she gasped, still clutching the relic. The relic, it did something. The girl, who had remained close, blinked at the remnants of fear around them. "It saved us." Her voice was full of disbelief, but relief dripped from each syllable. For a moment, everything felt like it had finally shifted, like they had broken free from the chaos of the night, like they could breathe without the weight of death on their shoulders. But a shadow flickered at the edge of the clearing, a reminder of what hung just beyond the boundaries of safety, a world still warped and haunted. The relic, though powerful, was a beacon. It drew things in as much as it repelled them. Turning to the girls, a determination built within Lily again. "This isn't over. We need to find a way to stop them for good. We need to know what this is. The girl nodded, her face now brighter with hope. But how? What do we do? James looked at the relic. There has to be something in here, some knowledge we can use. We have to go back to the shack. There has to be answers there. Lily swallowed hard, her heart trembled with the weight of the challenge ahead. Okay, she said, rising unsteadily. But this time we stick together. No more running alone. We face this head-on. As they turned back toward the woods, Lily felt the cool air brushing against her skin, filled with the promise of danger and discovery. The darkness held secrets, and they were determined to uncover the truth that had haunted them all. No more dread, no more fear. They would turn the tide, paint their own path with lights brighter than the shadow. Together, they stepped into the dark once more, ready to write a new story, one where they would emerge victorious, not just alive, but with the power to shape their own fate. As they ventured forth, the glow from the relic illuminated their way, weaving through the shadows of the twisted trees. The world around them was still dark, but now it felt alive, waiting for them to claim it. This was their moment. And they wouldn't shy away from it. Subscribe immediately so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comments with your reactions and theories about this mind-bending ending. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Every single one of you counts. Show your support now.